Well, new details this afternoon. The Lawrence County Sheriff believes that had a piece of legislation been in place, Michelle Dodge would still be alive this afternoon. Dodge was kidnapped and killed, according to the sheriff, during a hit that was organized from a gang member who is serving time in prison. Yeah, you heard me right. There's a look at Mr. James Peterson. He used a cell phone to coordinate the plot to kill Dodge with 8 other people on the outside. They've all been arrested since this case broke. Fox Carolina's Amber Worthy is outside the sheriff's office in Lawrence County, and you really feel for these parents who had to learn that an inmate is now accused of setting up this murder plot.
Cody, that is the hardest part of this, is thinking about the fact that they are just now wondering how that could happen. And the sheriff says this is a multi-jurisdictional problem. And sadly, this isn't the first time that an inmate has gotten their hands on a cell phone. So he's hoping something is done and fast to make sure it's the last time.
One life too many is a tragedy. I hope this tragedy brings to light the seriousness of this issue.
That serious issue is cell phones making their way into the hands of convicted criminals while they are still behind bars.
The guy that orchestrated it is currently serving a 30-year sentence. This was only accomplished by the gangs having access to contraband telephones. Contraband cell phones are not only dangerous to the public, they're dangerous to the other inmates.
Officials believe that these people and 2 others are behind the execution-style murder of Michelle Dodge, one that the sheriff believes could have been prevented if a cell phone jamming reform act that is being presented to Congress would have already been in effect.
I can't help but think if this bill had already been enacted that Ms. Dodge would not have met this end. Common sense would tell us if the cell phones won't work, they will be of no use to the inmates. Unfortunately, the solution is not that simple.
The sheriff thanked these agencies as well as the FBI for their support in getting this far in the case and getting these suspects in custody. They say the investigation is still evolving and more arrests could be made. He hopes that they have a solution for the root of the problem soon.
The throwing over or smuggling them into the system is something that has to be aggressively stopped.
And right now the sheriff says that there is a law in place that prohibits jails from having these cell phone jamming technology, and he says that only an act of Congress would be able to change that. Now, also the sheriff was commending the 8th Circuit Solicitor as well as the FBI and several other organizations for their help in getting this case this far. Now, from now until they get to court, the 8th Circuit Solicitor says they're supporting every agency involved in getting justice in this case. Reporting live in Lawrence County, Amber Worthy for the 5 o'clock news.
We talked to Director Brian Sterling with the South Carolina Department of Corrections about his thoughts on contraband cell phones and how they can be used to commit more crimes.
Are physically incarcerated in the prisons in the United States, both state and federal, but virtually, because of cell phones, they're able to continue committing crimes after they come to prison. With the cell phones, we don't know what they're saying and what they're doing and what they're plotting.
Sterling also says this is a nationwide problem that only Congress can fix. Now, coming up, the